Hey guys, Baron here. Now, in Generation 7, Ultra Beasts were introduced, and they changed the game through a couple of reasons. Not only did they introduce a new subcategory to Pokemon, but they also showed that Pokemon can be from other dimensions and from other places in the universe. And that got me thinking about the Pokemon that you can find in the Ultra Wormhole as you travel through it during Generation 7, and about the Pokemon that actually are from our world but still inhabit these places. And my question is, how did they get there? So today, in this Pokemon Theory, we're gonna cover that and break it down. So guys, if you're excited about that and want to show your support towards the channel, make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and share this video with a friend or two. But with that being said, let's get into it. So I feel like for this theory to make sense, we should start with the Ultra Beasts and how they got here. Like I said, they are interdimensional beings who traveled here through the wormhole, which essentially is a portal through dimensions where you can travel from one dimension to the other, and this is explained through various characters in the games. In the games, we encounter Professor Burnett, who has a research lab in Hiahia City focusing on the ultra-dimensional beings and the ultra wormholes and how the Pokemon that got through there traveled to our dimension. And of course, as you would be familiar with if you played the Generation 7 games, is that in the games we meet one of the main characters who is Lily, who has a Pokemon named Nebby, who is essentially Cosmog, a Ultra Beast of sorts. And with Generation 7 having Ultra Beast as such a distinct and prone element to the games, that really makes you think of what are the Ultra Beasts really? And that is what we're going to cover today. And that actually is a pretty easy question to answer. From the Ultra Beasts that we encounter in Generation 7, it is told to us that these are kind of common Pokemon. They are not legendaries or any like special Pokemon at all. They are actually kind of regular Pokemon who have traveled from one dimension to another, who are just rare here, but in their respective dimensions, they are not rare at all. An example of this is Buzzwole, who is not a common Pokemon in our universe, but in its own universe, in its own dimension, it is quite a common creature. Same with a lot of other Ultra Beasts, like for example, Formosa, like Nihilego and Circstream. And if we look at what the Ultra Dimension is essentially consisted of, we find a lot of environment is essentially the Ultra Plains, which consists of environments that are, for example, deserts, water environments, caves, and so forth, that regular Pokemon from our world have inhabited essentially. And honestly, I think that's a case of how the Ultra Beasts traveled to our dimension, really through accident. I think these Pokemon came from our dimension to that dimension in the same way that the Ultra Beasts came to our dimension. They traveled through there through the Ultra Wormhole. And granted that is probably through accident. And furthermore, that is why I think that rare Pokemon that cannot easily be found in a Alola region can be found in Ultra Dimensions, because essentially they have inhabited these dimensions but have sort of disappeared from the Alola region, which I think is a very interesting thing, and that makes me think of how exactly the environments have been made up in the Ultra Dimensions and how these Pokemon survive there. And I think that boils down to natural selection really, and the fact that the Pokemon that are more suited to these new environments that they maybe weren't prepared to live in would essentially live on in Ultra Dimensions. Of course, having a later genetic defect being shiny Pokemon. But I think that is the reason to why you can find certain Pokemon in certain environments, and that these are pretty much the only Pokemon you can find in these environments, because there are very few species that you actually can find in each and separate dimensions. And I think that is a case of them having, for natural selection, having narrowed down to species that are adapted to live in this environment. And going creepier and deeper into our theory right now, maybe that is why they attack you when you enter the Ultra Plains, because they don't have a natural prey there, and when you come in there, they're pretty much new meat. Who knows? But yeah, that is my theory, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that, and it was sort of me just rambling about it and my thoughts about it. But I feel like that's a good thing to do for a theory once in a while, and really let your imagination just run wild. So guys, what do you think about this sort of theory? Do you think that the Pokemon that are the Ultra Dimensions have come from our world, or are they just Pokemon that have naturally just evolved and come from a common ancestor in the Ultra Wormholes and the Ultra Dimensions? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and to get a discussion going. Also, of course, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the subscribe button, and share this video with a friend or two. But with that being said, I'm gonna get the hashtag out of here. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Before, until, and after seeing you next time though, stay awesome.